In other news, far-right leader George Simeon is set to secure decisive win in the first round of Romania's presidential election. This comes months after an earlier election was annulled by the court, citing foreign interference, sending the country into its worst political crisis in decades. 38-year-old Simion is the leader of Alliance for the Unity of Romanians, or AUR. The official electoral data showed that Simion was outpacing all other contestants in the polls with 40.1% vote share after 90% of votes were counted. Far behind in second place was the governing coalition's joint contestant, Crin Antonescu Show, with 21.1%, while pro-EU contestant and Bucharest mayor Nicolae Dan stood at third with 19.4% votes, although that gap is widely expected to narrow as votes from larger cities are counted. After taking a comfortable lead in the first round of elections, Simion addressed his supporters in video message at his party's headquarters, saying that Romanian people had created history. He added that he would begin a moral, political and economic reconstruction of Romania. He also slammed his opponents and said that Romanian people had won despite the obstacles and manipulation.
Together we made history today. We are approaching an exceptional result. Congratulations! You are the winners. Today, the Romanian people have voted. Today, the Romanian people have spoken. It is time to make our voices heard. Despite the obstacles, despite the manipulation, despite a press paid to belittle us day after day, the Romanian people have risen up.
Well, according to the Central Election Bureau, about 9.57 million people, or 53.2% of eligible voters, had cast their ballots by the time polls closed, while 973,000 votes were cast at polling stations set up in other countries. George Simeon will now face pro-EU Bucharest mayor Nicolae Dan in the May 18th runoff. The election redo was allowed after Romania's political landscape was shaken last year, when a top court voided the previous election in which the far-right independent Călin Gerceșu topped the first round, following allegations of electoral violations and Russian interference, which Moscow has denied. Georgescu was barred from the rerun, after authorities noted a massive TikTok campaign that led to violent demonstrations. He was later replaced by George Simeon, a fan of Donald Trump, often seen wearing a cap with the US president's slogan, "Make America Great Again."